Let us see what we need to start off with today. Here it is. We were talking about the functions. Right, so SQL functions we have talked about, and string functions, date functions. I think we did the date functions as well. Okay. Right, so today we need to start off with user-defined functions. We need to proceed on with the user-defined functions. Now, what are user-defined functions? User-defined functions are the functions which we create. So if we have a particular, if we have some functionality which we wanted to use it over again and again, so we can create a function for it. We can create a function for it. So let's do it. So I'm going to the respective database. Okay, so let's do it. Use test. What was the database I created for you? Web 1. So let us create a function which will accept the two numbers and will give the sum of those two numbers. So to create a function, I will say create function. The name of the function, say my sum, @x as int, @y as int, returns int, else, begin, declare @z as int, set set @z is equal to @x plus @x plus @7. One sec, please. And return @end. No worries. I'm just first giving you an example, and I will explain each line of this code which I have written. So the command completed successfully. The function has been created. Now let us use. So if you remember yesterday how we have used the function select and the name of the function, that is my sum, and it needs two numbers for its functionality. So I will say 10, 20, and let me execute this. And I am getting an error over here that my sum is not recognized as a built-in function name. My sum has not been recognized as a built-in function name. We are getting an error over here. Why? Because SQL is trying to find this function within its own environment, but it is a user-defined function. So we have to precede this with DB. What's that? we have to proceed with the DBO dot, where DBO stands for database objects. And now let me execute this. So I'm getting the result of 10 plus 20, that is 30. I'm getting the result. Now, how this is happening, let me explain the code which I have written over here. First of all, create function is a command and mysum is the name of the function which I have given. Within the parenthesis, I have specified @x as int and @y as int. Right, within the parenthesis, I have specified @x as int and @y as int. So when you put @ in front of anything, SQL treats it as a variable. SQL treats it as variable. So now this entire line, create function mysum @x as int @y as int. What does this mean? This means I am asking SQL to create a function with the name mysum, which will take two integer values as a parameter. Returns int, which is specifying that whenever this function will be used, finally an integer value will be returned. It will be finally returning some integer value as begin. So entire definition means the functionality of the function which will be between begin and end. And declare is a keyword to declare a variable. Declare is a keyword to declare a variable. So it is saying declare @z as int. So I'm creating a variable z over here. Then set @z is equal to @x plus @y. So we are adding the two numbers provided by the user, which is in the variable x and y, and assigning the resultant to the variable z. And finally, we are saying return @z. We are returning the value of the variable z. So this is how it's a function works. Okay, so this is a user defined function we have created over here. Okay, so okay, let's try to create one more function. A function can take any number of arguments. A function can take any number of arguments, but will return only a single value. Remember this, this is a very important point, that a function will return only a single value. Let us take one more example and okay, let's take this example. For an example, in this, select star from EMP. I have the employee ID and the name. Now in this, I want to generate the corporate email ID of employee by taking the first character of first name, the last name, last 4 digits of the employee ID, followed by @outlook.com. Okay. So let's create a logic for this. So let's assume that the name is Rajiv Garg and the ID is E0001. So the email ID should be R Garg R Garg 0001 @gmail.com. Not Gmail, Outlook. So I will say create function. The name of the function, let's say create function. Let's take the name of the function as mail and and as varchar. Let's take 30 comma @id as char 5 returns varchar 100 as begin. Declare @id as varchar 100, and I will rename this because we have already taken ID as a parameter. So em and declare at the rate em as varchar 100. Then I will need few. Now to create the logic, let's see, I want the first character of the name and the last name. So I think I told you yesterday how to extract the last name. So anything which is appearing after space will be the last name. So for calculating the last name, I need to know the position of the space and the length of the string. So I will say declare at the rate s, and we can take amount and declare at the rate l as int. Now I will be using some character functions over here. So I will say set at the rate s is equal to char index. I wanted to find out space in at the rate n. Right. Then set at the rate l is equal to len of at the rate n. So we talked about these functions yesterday. That is the length and finding a position of a character within a string. Now, okay. Now I will say set at the rate em is equal to concat the first character of the name. So I will say left of at the rate n comma 1 comma the last name. So I can say right of name comma at the rate l minus at the rate s comma last 4 digits of the employee ID. So I will say right of PID comma 4 comma at the rate outlook.com, and we'll say let me make it as upper also. My bad, it's not name, at the rate n, and what was the variable I have taken? ID. Return at the rate em and say and command completed successfully. Now you say select select dbo dot what was the name? Mail. Mail. Let's take the name as work, comma ID as T0001. Let's see what are we getting. So you see it's become R Garg 0001 as outlook.com. And if I want to use this in a function or in a with a table, so I will say select PID comma name comma dbo dot mail name, comma, EI from EM. Here it is. So you can see, I'm getting the details over here. The IDs has been generated over here. Okay, employee ID name data this from here. So you can see we have generated the email ID over here. If you wanted to give a label as, you can say for email. Here it is, right? So let me quickly explain what we have done over here. So we have created a function, create function. We have created a function mail, which is taking two variables, two character type variables as a parameter, the name and the employee ID, and it will return a varchar type. As begin, we have taken three variables over here. One is of varchar type and two is of integer type. The varchar type variable has been taken to hold the finally the ID which we will be generating. @s has been taken to find the position of a character within a string, of a space within a string, and @L has been used to L has been used to find out the length of the string. And so set @s is equal to char index space comma @n. So this will find the position of the character space within the string and will store into the variable s. L will find the length of the string and will store it into the variable L. And finally, we have used the concatenation operator and concatenated first character, the last name, and last four digits of the employee ID followed by outlook.com and assigned it to the variable EM. And finally, we have returned the variable EM, right? So this is a logic we have created. So if this is a regular requirement, you can see so simply now we have a function which will give you the email ID. It has become so simple. So now by this you can understand the importance of the functions. I hope it is clear. Right. So this was an example of a user defined function. Now we have two types of user defined function. One is known as scalar functions and another is known as table valued function. Scalar function are also referred to as single function and single valued functions. Scalar functions or single valued functions. So scalar functions are the function which will return only a single value. A function can take any number of arguments but will return only a single value. So these are known as scalar function. And a table valued functions are the function. Table valued functions are the function which returns a table. A combination of rows and columns, and that is referred to as a table. Okay. So let's take an example of table valued function and see carefully. There are a few syntactical changes in the table valued function. So let us say, let me write a query. And for this, I will go to another database to give you an example. Here it is. So I'm getting the details of Delhi employees. I'm getting 22 records over here. Now, supposedly this is your regular requirement to find the details of the Delhi employees. So what can I do? I can create a function over here. So I can say create create function, the name of the function, say create function name, and here this is not taking any argument, and returns table as return let's execute this. Command completed successfully. Now how do we execute a function? We will say select dbo dot and the name of the function, say w1 demp, and now you can see that we are getting an error over here. Now why are we getting this error? Why are we getting this error? Because see, what is the error? Cannot find the function, because this is a table valued function. And how do we retrieve the data from a table valued function? By writing select star from. Here it is. So now you are getting the data over here. So whenever you are using table valued function, you always have to write select star from dbo dot function. Okay. Now you might say that this function will always give us details of the Delhi employees. What if I need the details from any other employee? So what can we do? Let's drop is this function. So how to drop a function? I will say drop function, and the name of the function. Oh, sorry. The function has been dropped. Let me recreate this function. At the rate x. Here it is. Now you write select star from. Yes. Here it is. You are getting the details of Mumbai employees. Now it is your parameterized function, and let's say Delhi. You are getting the details of Delhi. Okay. And let me give you one more example of the function. And before I give that example, okay. First, I will give you this example, and then I will highlight one of the important point, which is a major difference between a table valued function and a scalar function. So let's create one query over here. I will say select So I hope you understand that I have created a join over here. So this join is getting the details from the employee and the employee salary table, and also it is doing some calculation for HRA and PF, and it is giving the salary details of team member. Now, if this is your regular requirement that on and off you need to specify, you need to find out the details of the ops team or salary details of any of the team members. So you have to write this query again and again. So let's create a function for this. So I will say create function, the name of the function, let's say create function name. I will say @xl varchar 20 return returns returns table as instead of alias, I will say @x. Exist. Here it is. Now I will simply say select star from and I will say MIS. I'm getting the details of MIS team members, salary details, IT. I'm getting the salary details of IT team members. I will say ops. I'm getting the salary details of ops team member. So what I wanted to highlight over here is the comfort which you are getting by creating the function. Okay. Now, one important point, if you notice the difference between the difference between the scalar value function and the table valued function is, now first difference here in the table valued function, we are not using begin and end. So we do not use begin and end in the same table valued function, because whatever you are writing, whatever the code you are writing, whatever the query you are writing, finally you will be writing only one statement. No matter what sort of a functionality you are performing, but finally you will be getting only one. Okay, so that is the difference over here, and it obviously it returns a table. So a function can take any number of arguments, but will always return a single value. Remember this one. Okay. So DBO. So DBO stands for database object. Whenever we create any user-defined function, we have to specify that how the SQL will recognize that whether the function is an inbuilt function or a user-defined function. Whether the function is an inbuilt function or a user-defined function. So this is with the help of DBO, database object, the SQL can recognize that it is a user-defined or a database function. So database object, the object which has been defined within this database only. So I have created this function W1DEMP within the dataset test. So it will be used only within this dataset. Okay. Next. So we have left with the date function. So let's quickly go through the date functions. Right. Date functions. The date function, the first function we have is over here is a get date. So I will say select get date. So it will give you the current system date and time. So it is saying 13th of August 2021, 9:52 p.m. That is what it is giving over here. The next function we have over here is a date add, which will add the respective number to the specified date. So I will say select date add. I wanted to add 10 days to here it is. So it takes three parameters, the date part, the number, and the date. So if this function which I have written, it is saying that what will be the date after 10 days from today? What will be the date after 10 days from today? Okay, so it will be 23rd of August. Similarly, if you want month, you can say month, what will be the date after 10 months from today? So it will be 13th of June 2022. And if you want to provide the year, what will be the date after 2 years from today? So that is 13th of August 2023. Okay. So that was date add. Then we have date diff. It is used to find the difference between the two dates. So let me take an example. Select EID, comma, oops. Select EID, comma, name, comma, date of joining from EMP. Now I wanted to find out the tenure over here. So I can say comma, date, date diff, date diff. I want to get day. Start date is date of joining, and the end date is get date. Here it is. Right. So this is the number of days the person is with the company. Now days will not make a sense over here. So I will like to take if month. So Mr. Ramesh Gupta is with the company since 113 months. So again, this will also not make much sense. So I can say YY, that is for year. So yes, Ramesh Gupta is with the company since last 9 years. Right. So that is known as date diff to get the difference between the two dates. Then we have the day, month, and year function. So I will say select So I am extracting the day from the date. So today is the 13th day of the month, comma, month. This is the 8th month going on. Year. The year is 2021. The year is 2021. Okay. And similar to this, we also have a function called date part. Date part, comma, get date. So I'm getting the day, that is the 13th day. Similarly, you can also get the month, and you can also get the year. So both day, month, year, and date part give you the same output. It is up to you which function you wanted to use. Then we have a convert function. Like you can say select. Convert, get date, convert, varchar. I wanted to convert the date into the character data type. So you can say, let me also write get date over here so you can see the difference. Here it is. So by default, it shows the date as 2021 8/13. But if I have converted into a character type, it is displaying is August 13, 2021, 7:59 p.m. This is how you are getting the date, right? Then we have format. So I can also say select format, get date, comma. Here it is. So now you see you are getting the date as Friday, August 13, 2021. So the focus is on day, that is Friday. I will say month. I will say year. Now see the difference. August 13, August 2021. Okay. So the focus over here, the focus is on the month. Here the focus is on the day, and here the focus is on the year. So you can use the format functions as well. So whatever you want as per the requirement. So these are few of the commonly used date functions over here, right? So with this, let's proceed further to our next topic, that is subqueries. Wait, let's go. Sorry. Subquery. Subquery, as the name says, what do you understand by subquery? A query within a query is known as subquery. A query within a query is known as subquery, or nested query, or inner query. So you can call it anything. Subquery, inner query, nested query, whatever you feel like, you can call it. A query within a query is known as subquery. Okay, so let's take an example. When do we need a subquery? So let us take select star from EMP, and I will say select star from employee underscore cell. Let me execute this too. I want to get employee ID, name, and city of all the managers. I need to get employee ID, name, city of all the managers. Okay. So Now, what is the challenge in this? The challenge is that we need the information from the employee table, but the criteria which we are specifying, it is there in the salary table. So it will be select EID, comma, name, comma, city from EMP, where EID in select EID from EMP underscore cell, where designation is equal to manager. So we are getting 10 employees over here. Overall, we have 112 employees, but we have how many managers? For 112 employees, we have 10 managers over here. Okay, so how we are getting this? So this is the outer query and this is the inner query. So the output of the inner query, this becomes the input to the outer query. So this is the output, outer query, inner query, main query, sub query, parent query, child query. You can call it anything you want. Clear? Okay. Okay. This is it. All right. Let's take one more example. I want the salary details of all the Delhi employees. I want the salary detail of all Delhi employees. So I will say select star from EMP underscore cell, where EID in select EID from EMP, where city equals Delhi. $17. So you can see I am getting the details, salary details of all the Delhi employees. Okay, here it is, right? And okay, so let us take one more example over here. Subquery are majorly used for data retrieval. Subqueries are majorly used for data retrieval. However, they can also be used for data manipulation. Subqueries are majorly used for data retrieval. However, they can also be used for data manipulation, that is insertion, deletion, and updation. So let's take an example over here. So I have one more table over here, that is select star from training, in which I have employee ID, name, module, and department. Now, supposingly, all the MIS team members, needs to appear for a SQL training. So I need to enter the details of MIS team member into the training table. So let's do it. So first of all, let's get the details of the MIS team member. So I will say select. Now here, see what I need. I need employee ID, name, and department of all the MIS team members. So employee ID and name is in the employee table, and the department is there in the employee salary table. So that is, we have a requirement of, we have a requirement of a join. So I will say select EMP dot EID, comma, name, comma, department. Let's also take designation from EMP, email join EMP underscore cell on emp.eid equals emp underscore cell dot eid, where department is equal to MIS. Right, so I'm getting the details of MIS team member, and now I need to, from this table, let me execute the both together. So I wanted to store the details of the MIS team member into the training training tables. How I will do it? Insert into training, insert into training, EID, name, designation, insert into training, then values, and one by one we will be entering the values. Instead of that, I will be using here it is, 8 rows affected. Simply say select star from training. Here it is. So I have taken the select query. I have taken the select query as an input, to the insert query. So here it is an example of insert sub query. Okay. Now let's take one more thing. I want to change the data module for all the employees as SQL. For all the records, the module needs to be changed. Just 1 second. Right. So insert into training. Right. Okay, I wanted to update it. So I will say update. Update. Update training set module is equal to SQL. And I'm not specifying a where clause over here because I need to update all the records over here. So you can see for all the records, the module has been updated as SQL. Now let's take a scenario that this particular training needs not to be attended by MIS team, needs not to be attended by the managers. The managers are not required to attend this training. So the detail of all the manager needs to be deleted from the training table. So how can we do that? So again, select. First of all, let's get the details of the MIS manager. So I will say select star from emp underscore cell where department is equal to MIS, where details is equal to MIS and designation is equal to manager. So I am getting the 3 MIS managers over here. Let me also take these 2. So I need name also 104, 10 and 13. That is 4, 10, 13. 4, 10, 13 needs to be removed, needs to be deleted. So okay. So now I will say delete from training where delete from training where EID in select EID from EMP underscore cell where designation is equal to 4, 10, 13. Designation is equal to manager. Here it goes. 3 records affected. Right? And let us say select star from training. So you will see the details of the managers has been removed from this training table. Okay, so this is an example of delete subquery. Right. So I have given you an example of insert subquery, delete subquery. Now let's take an example of update subquery. Now supposingly I want to update the salary of, I want to increase the salary of all the Delhi employees by 10,000. I want to increase the salary of all the Delhi employees by 10,000. So let's see how can we do that. So I will say select, not select, update emp underscore cell set salary is equal to salary plus 10,000 where salary plus 10,000 where EID in select EID from EMP where city equals Delhi. Here it goes. 17 rows affected. Now let us try to get the salary details of Delhi employees. So I will say select star from emp underscore cell where EID in select EID from EMP where city equals Delhi. Okay. So the salary has of the Delhi employees has been increased by 10,000. So here it is an example of update subquery. Update. Okay. So now in the subquery, so update. So I have given you an example of select subquery, insert subquery, delete subquery, and update subquery. Now there are few rules regarding the subqueries, which are: number one, the subqueries must be enclosed within the parenthesis. So you can see everywhere we have enclosed the subquery within the parenthesis. Number two, the query can have only one column in the select clause. If you see everywhere, we are saying select EID from EMP where city is equal to Delhi, select EID from employee cell where designation is equal to manager, and so on. Now, if in this example, instead of EID, let me make it as asterisk, and let us try to check the inner query, and let's see whether it is working fine or not. The query is working absolutely fine, but if I execute it as a subquery, I am getting an error over here. I am getting a error over here. So that's why the inner query can have only one column in the select list. Here. Okay. Then third, order by cannot be used in a subquery, although the main query can use order by. So example, if you are saying select EID, comma, name, comma, city from EMP where EID in, select EID from EMP where salary is more than 200,000. So I want to get the employee ID, name and city from EMP underscore cell. I want to get employee ID, name, city of the employees whose salary is more than 200,000. So we are getting 8 team members where the salary is more than 200,000. And in the inner query, let me put order by EID. And let us see whether the inner query is working fine or not. Yes, the inner query is working absolutely fine. But if I use it as a subquery, it will not work because order by cannot be used within a subquery. However, if you want, you can use it with the main query over here. Here it will be used. Subquery that return more than one row can only be used with a multiple value operator such as in. Now let's take one more example over here. I'm taking the same query and I will say I want to get the employee ID, name and city of the people who have the salary more than 300,000. So we have 4 people whose salary is more than 300,000, 400,000. We have 2 people whose salary is more than 400,000. Let's take 500,000. There is 1 person whose salary is more than 500,000. So where EID. Now let us try to take equal to over here and you will see it will work perfectly fine. So we can also use equal to over here, but let's try to make it as anything else. Let's take 300,000 and now let's try to execute. Now the same query is giving an error. Why? Because the inner query is returning more than one record. So if your inner query is returning more than one record, then you should always use in. So it is better to use in rather than equal to, right? And in this case, it does not matter whether the inner query is returning one record or it is returning 10 records. So this is a rule. Now, next way says the between operator cannot be used with a subquery. However, it could be used within a subquery. So within the subquery, you can use the between operator, but not with the outer query. So I want to suppose, let us take this query once again. Where salary between, let's take 200,000 and 500,000. So I'm getting 8 team members. Let me say 200 to 300. I'm getting 5 team members whose salary is between 200 to 300,000. Okay, here it is. So this is what these rules are saying over here. So simple subquery we have already seen, and I have also told you that we can use the subquery for insert, update, and delete as well. Okay, and right, one more thing I would like to highlight over here. There is one more subquery, which is there is one more type of subquery which is known as subquery with exist. Subquery with exist. So if you remember in the previous session, we have talked about the exist operator, and I told you that I will be talking about in detail in the exist operator in subquery. So exist operator checks for the existence of the data. Exist operator checks for the existence of the data. So let me write. Now, listen to my question very carefully. What is the question? I want to get the salary details. I want to get the salary details of all the HR team member. If any of the HR team member has the salary more than 200,000. Now, assuming I have 10 HR team members, out of which there are 3 team members whose salary is more than 200,000. So in this case, according to my requirement, how many records will be displayed? So the number of record displayed will be 10 only. Why? Because I repeat my question once again. I want to see the detail of all the HR team members. If any of the HR team member has the salary more than 100,000 or 200,000 or whatever. So I have put in a condition to the output. I am putting a condition to the output only if this particular condition satisfied, then only I wanted to see the output. So let me do this practically. I will say select star from emp underscore cell where department is equal to HR. It's a simple query over here. Select star from employee salary where department is equal to HR. Okay. Now I'm getting 9 records over here. So the details of the HR team members is appearing over here, where department is equal to HR. Now I say and exist select star from emp underscore cell where department is equal to HR and salary is greater than 200,000. Let me execute the inner query. So I'm getting 3 people whose salary is more than 200,000. Let me execute this entire query. I'm getting the output. Let me make it as 300,000 and let's see how many records we have over here. We have only one record with the person who has a salary more than 300,000. Let's execute. Still, I am getting all the 9 records. Let me make it as a 400,000. I'm not getting any of the record. Right? So this exist operator is giving me the output only because of this exist operator. The output of this query, that is the outer query, is dependent on the output of the inner query and not what the data is returning. It is just looking whether the inner query is returning something or not. If the inner query will work, outer query will also work. If the inner query will not work, the outer query will also not work. And let me give you a very simple example to understand this, which you will be easily remembering. That is, let's consider the exist operator as a AC switch of a AC. If the switch is on, AC will work. If the switch is not on, the AC will not work. So if the inner query will give some output, the outer query will work. If the inner query will not give the output, the outer query will also not work. And I can also justify my point on the basis of this. If you notice, we have written select star from. And just few minutes back, we have talked about that in the inner query, we can have only one column in the inner query. But here we are using select star. How can we use select star over here? We can use select star over here because here SQL is not looking at the data what the inner query is returning. So that is the exist operator in SQL. All right. So this is about the subqueries, and the next topic which is coming up over here is a stored procedure. So before that, let's see how is it going. The difference between join and the subquery. So if you remember yesterday, I asked you to note down one line that joins are required when we need to retrieve the data from more than one table. Joins are required when we need to retrieve the data from more than one table. But you will, if you will see over here, we have not in any of the subquery which we have written over here, we are finally fetching the data from one table only. But the criteria which we are specifying to get the data, it is based from some different table. Okay. So that is the difference between subqueries and join. So join is simple. Normally the people get confused when to use joins, when to use subqueries. So I have given you a tester over here. See whether your requirement is to get the data from more than one table, yes or no. If yes, you have to use join. If no, not joins needs not to be used. And then we will see whether the subqueries are required or not.